Hello and welcome to Silverstone for the next exciting round of the Jack Nick collab. Here you go, the JARC and the Novice Race Ferrari Challenge. Of course, Jack Ashton being the acclaimed driver coach, and the novice, of course, being Nick Green, also a racing driver in real life. But it's not just them. It seems we've got a full field of pros and AMs looking to take part here. My name is not Ewan O'Leary or James Parfitt, unfortunately. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me in the commentary box is Mr. Jim Cunningham, my very good friend. But welcome to Silverstone, Jim. And this should be interesting. We've got a small field of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 AMs, but we've got about 11 or 12 pro drivers looking to make an impression today. And yeah, these are drivers that have all been coached by Jack Ashton and maybe a little bit by Nick Green as well, looking to sort of show their stuff, show what they can do. And we've got quite a few from different parts of the world. We've got a few British drivers racing at home, a Finn, we've got a couple of Australians, a Greek driver, Czech Republic, someone from Thailand, and Parker Enquist from the United States, along with his countryman Garrett Kinney as well, and Trey Lambrecht in the pro class. So your nation's represented here as well, Jim, here at Silverstone.
Yeah, I have to give those guys credit because it's pretty dang early over here.
5 in the morning, apparently. It's midday here, so yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm in the central time zone, and so it's now 6 a.m., but it was a 5 a.m. wake-up call to do this one as I'm filling in for James. But yeah, definitely a well-rounded field, and all the Jack Ashton stuff I've done in the past have always been good, represented, countries represented in the in the field, and obviously they concentrate a lot on racecraft here and things like that. So it's been fun, the events I've done one of these, and then I've done some of Jack's previous stuff, just his solo stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Good to be with you again, by the way.
Oh, same here, Jim. Anyway, looks like we've got about less than 2 minutes left on the clock for qualifying, but a pretty empty circuit, as you can see. So it looks like the grid may well be decided then, and it looks like overall pole has been taken by Tommy Patero, 1:59.187. That's a pretty competitive time in that Ferrari, number 88 Ferrari GD3. So there you go. You can see it on screen there. I think we have actually still got somebody out on track. There we go. Is that Jerome Wolf, the Dutchman? Was just going towards Cops there, and then he's disappeared out of frame. And now we're looking at the Silverstone sign.
Well, if he let's see if he is still out there. Yes, he is. So he's driving that really cool Monster energy drink livery.
Other energy drink brands are available.
Yes, right. Yeah,
is it like the BBC where you gotta not feel like you're partial to any sponsors or anything?
Whatever. Whatever they run, I'll talk about. But no, he's. I was watching him out in practice. He was running pretty well out there. Obviously, the fastest would appear to be the fastest AM on track, and Tommy Patero, what looks to be going to be our pole sitter here if something doesn't change dramatically. He is the points leader. In fact, I tell you what, I don't want to do that right now. I was going to bring the points up, but if I do that, when the session changes over, it'll stick, and we'll have a stuck thing, and I'll have to shut the software off to get it to go away.
The joys of iRacing, eh?
Yeah,
But,
it's just little bugs here and there, just things you learn the hard way usually.
Right, so with time expired, I guess I'll just read everybody what the grid order is then, as we see it all switching over to our first 20-minute race then. So, as you can see, the front row is made up of Tommy Patero and Ian Knox from Garage 69 alongside him. Matt Warner and Hayden Britton make it a local second row. Then it's George Mitakos and Alistair Clark on row 3. Trey Lambrecht and Thomas Weston make up row 4. Then on row 5, rounding out the top 10, is Andy Pratt and Nicholas Green. Then In 11th position, leading our AMs, is Jerome Wolf from Parker Enquist. Alongside him on row 6. Then row 7 is Andre Svoboda, sorry.
Svoboda, yep.
Svoboda in 13th, of course, with Eric Orchin joining him on row 7. Then it is Timothy Wybrow and Garrett Kinney on row 8. And finally, bringing up the rear in 17th position is Reese Bartlett. So I think a couple of our IAMs didn't really set times, Kinney and Bartlett, in that qualifying session. So the first time we're going to see them out on track is at this race start here after the formation lap.
No, I think we're going green, red. I think this is going to be a standing start, I believe.
Okay, all right.
I believe it is.
Well, that would have been embarrassing. Anyway, Tom Patera then, waiting for the lights to show. I think, is there one grid slot not filled there? No, it is filled. There we go. It's just a very low-looking Ferrari. And, yeah, Tony Patero's got a great chance to lead the field away here in Heat 1. But Ian Knox on the inside will be looking to try and get the drop on him. And what can Matt Warner and Hayden Britton do from the second row here? This is going to be fascinating to watch. Are the lights coming on? We can't see from this angle. There we go. So, the lights all coming on now, and when they extinguish, we will be underway at Silverstone as the pack roars into life. Not a great start from Ian Knox. Thomas Weston gaining few positions. Hayden Britton was left almost stranded on the grid. He's fallen all the way down to 10th. Jerome Wolf also make a bad start. And, oh, there's carnage already. Well, so much for racecraft. There we go. That's Andy Pratt, I believe, involved in that one, along with Trey Lambrecht. And Svoboda, I think, is losing a few positions as well, along with Reese Bartlett. But Tommy Patera and Ian Knox still leading away from Matt Warner, George Matakos, and Alistair Clark, your top 5, with Parker Enquist now leading the AM class quite comfortably.
Yeah, let's see if we can go back and get a look at that.
Oh, so Lambrecht, Pratt, Bartlett, all out of the race.
Let me see. Let's try to. So this started right off bad here.
Oh.
So we got a rear end job there, and then we got a car on the outside that was on the inside spinning. So that was the beginning of it.
Was that Svoboda there that we're just looking at?
No, well,
no, it was Nicholas Green, sorry. Oh, and there's a second incident.
Yeah, so yeah,
which eliminates Lambrecht, Pratt, and Bartlett.
Yeah, I think the Lambrecht thing happened here. Let's see. Okay, so.
Yeah, so Lambrecht's already been hit in the back, I think.
Yes, and then he's going to lose
it. Then he loses it.
Yeah.
And then he reverses onto the racing line. Oh, but he gets revenge, though, on, I believe, was that Andy Pratt or Bartlett that just clattered into the back of him.
All right, let's see. I think, and then, yeah, well, I believe that was the Bartlett thing here. This is going to be Bartlett.
It must have been Andy Pratt, then, that clattered into the back of him. Yeah, this is Bartlett post-accident with damaged steering. That looks like a Wreckfest car after a couple of hits.
Done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if we can find us some racecraft now. But that kind of stuff happens, you know. I mean,
well, maybe Heat 2 will be cleaner. Who knows? Or the final, I guess. But anyway, Tony Patera is starting to lead away. He's starting to stretch his legs by 0.8 of a second, and Ian Knox is having to worry about Matt Warner now, all over the back of him, with George Matakos keeping with the pack too as they start to drop Thomas Weston just a little bit. Hayden Britton has fought back from his poor getaway off the line and gotten back up to 7th, past Parker Enquist now, who's got Timothy Wybrow, the Australian, in his sights as well, trying to chase him down. Wybrow's gained 6 positions from the back of the grid to go from, let's see, that would be 15th to 9th then, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that's pretty, yes, and up into 2nd place overall in the AM category with a little ground to make up there.
Jerome Wolf, though, is right behind him with Eric Orchin, just in between the two of them as well. So that battle's going to keep rumbling on then as we look at Orchin right now. He's got the purple car of Wybrow trying to fight with Enquist for the class lead in front of him, and then Jerome Wolf, the pole sitter in class, starting to catch back up to him in that Monster Energy livery. And he's got Nicholas Green nipping at his heels as well. So we've got a 5-car pack here, all closely bunched together. Look at the way Wybrow is sort of cutting to the inside at Cops, trying to just put off Enquist. In fact, he goes a little bit wide there. This could be an opportunity for Orchin as Hayden Britton is fighting away with Weston, and it looks like Hayden Britton not quite able to get through there just in front of this battle, as we see in the background. Nicholas Green having a go at Wolf. Oh, and he takes Wolf out. Oh, into Magus and Beckett, and Wolf just got tapped in the rear there, and more horrific bad luck for Nicholas Green. He was hitting the back at the start. Now he's the one making contact with the rear of Wolf.
Yeah, I wanted to let's see, go back and take a look at that real quick. I don't know if I might call that horrendous bad luck or not. I think that's
misjudgment. Yeah, he was going for a gap on the outside that was never going to work for him in any circumstance.
I don't really know. That's not necessarily a gap you would that you would go for. I'm a little confused by that, to be honest.
I think he was unlucky at the start, and now he seems to have decided to just go for broke and take risks like that. And poor Jerome Wolf has had zero luck at the start of this race. Horrible start, and now being taken out left and right as we look at Green back underway, still ahead of him by about 3 seconds, frustratingly for Wolf. But that, of course, allows Garrett Kinney up into 4th in the AM class as we cut to Thomas Weston, try to hold off Hayden Britton, who we know in qualifying was a little bit quicker here in that Oreo livery. He seems to think food items as sponsors up the inside into Brooklands, and it seems to work for him.
I love that Oreo livery right there. That's a great looking car.
Yeah, well, that's how the cookie crumbles then.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Hayden Britton gets through into 6th position, and now he's only lost 2 positions from where he qualified now with Alistair Clark and George Matakos. Next target's up the road. They're all kind of inside there on the run out of Luffield, though, towards Cops and the old start-finish straight that they used to use up until 2011. And now we see the lead up front. Tommy Patera is even further ahead now, 1.4 seconds. He is constantly setting fastest laps of the race, 1:59.4 last lap around, and Ian Knox has got no answer, but he has at least bridged the gap to Matt Warner then. So this is going to come down to if Patera makes a mistake or not. So far, Ian Knox has just had to watch him disappear into the distance ahead of him, and the closest fight on track is in the top 4 at least is Matakos, still within 6/10 of Matt Warner, as you can see in the background.
Yeah, well, to be honest, from what I was looking at in the practice session before the race started, Patera was cutting laps that were 1/2 to 3/4 of a second faster than anybody else out there. So the fact that Ian Knox has been able to keep that gap under 2 seconds and is to some degree hanging with him is an accomplishment all in itself, really.
Yeah, certainly is. Good news, by the way, for fans of Andy Pratt. Andy is back out on track. It's showing on the timing screen, but he is nearly over a minute down on the next car, having, I believe, pit for repairs. So he should be in 15th overall. But yeah, definitely Lambrecht and Bartlett. We will not be seeing any more of them in this heat. But of course, with a second race still to come, it makes sense for Pratt to carry on just in case something happens up the road ahead of him and he can gain a couple more spots.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Plus points for the season. You know, you might pick up a couple extra points along the way there. Although things do have kind of seemed to spread out a little bit. So, this is a nice little battle here.
Yeah, that's the AM lead battle, isn't it? Yeah. Between Y. Brown Enquist and Parker Enquist, who has kept his nose very, very clean so far. He's only about a second behind Thomas Weston, and he's been lapping about 4/10 quicker than him. So Weston, unfortunately, with that missing front bumper, I think he was the one involved in some of the contact at the start. He is starting to lose ground and fall into the AM lead fight here, which is really not what Parker Enquist needs. But for Timothy Wybrow, he will be licking his lips, won't he? Because he can sense that if Weston can hold up Enquist, there could be an opportunity for him to capitalize and take advantage and pass him.
Yeah, he had closed that gap up a little bit. Then looks like Enquist just kind of just pulled the gap out just a little bit more now. But yeah, I think this is going to be one of those battles that lasts the majority of the rest of this race. They although he found him some pay. Oh no!
Oh! Oh dear, Wybrow cut to the inside, took a bit of a different line there, and the rear tires did not enjoy that at all. Wybrow drops down to 12th position there. Oh, and he spun again, trying to get it back up again. That's going to allow Jerome Wolf back through, but that's frustrating for Wybrow. He was settling in, took a bit of an aggressive line into Stowe, and that backfired horribly for him. So now Eric Orchin is up to second, and Garrett Kinney is on the AM podium now.
Yeah, I think Highbrow's tires got pretty hot and aggravated right there, and they didn't, they were probably just so slick there when he gassed it back up, it just leaped on him again.
I wonder if he was running a little too close to Enquist maybe, and that was what was sort of putting him off, because it was getting to the point he was having to take different lines into Stowe.
I question why he took that line, to be honest. Anyway, in fact, let me see here while let's go back up here towards the front, and I'm going to see if I can find the beginning of that and get a look at that. Because I'm not so sure why he took that line, to be honest with you. Let's see if this is the beginning of it. Yeah, okay. So, see, he turned in early. I think he just lost it because of the curb, to be honest. I think his line was probably okay. I think he just...
It was his entry. He was a lot more to the inside on entry.
He was a lot shallower on the entry, but then he was riding on that painted curbing for an extended period of time there, and I think when he got mid turn there, and I think that back end just wanted to step out. Maybe that curbing's a little slick, or something. I'm not sure what time of the day this race is taking place. Actually, it makes me want to know now.
In Australia, it's probably quite late, quite early over there, maybe. Regardless, Wybrow actually did pretty well not to hit the wall there, because I've seen several drivers lose it at Stowe, and then it's a one-way trip to the barrier before the pit lane entry, essentially. So, actually, to be fair, for doing very well to still be in the race. Timothy Wybrow's in Australia, yeah.
Oh, I meant time of the day in session. Like was in the morning, and the curves might have been slick from some dew or moisture, because it's...
I believe it has been raining at Silverstone in real life, but in server at the moment, looking bright, overcast. I was going to say bright and sunny, but overcast and sunny. And it's 12:23 the local time, I believe.
Okay, so now it's midday. Yeah, don't give me any Formula One spoilers either, by the way.
Oh no, well,
they are at Silverstone this weekend. Once we get done here, I'm gonna go have a breakfast. No, I'm gonna go have a breakfast and watch the Formula One race.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I think same with me, but with lunch. Anyway, so let's get back to the race then. This one, Tommy Patero continuing to lap in the very low 59s, high 58s, and he is just absolutely checked out here from Ian Knox to nearly 4 seconds now. But Knox has been setting personal bests of his own, and slowly starting to gap Matt Warner, who's gapping George Mitakos. Then there's a bit of a gap to Alistair Clark. Much bigger gap to Hayden Britton, who, of course, made that terrible start. But he's not really been lapping quicker, as we see, is that Andy Pratt being lapped there by the race leaders.
I think he was just getting out of the way there more than anything else. He just slid over to the side, just stay out of the way.
It's a shame that Pratt had that instant, because his pace doesn't look too bad. We see Wolf fighting with Garrett Kinney. Kinney has been lapping in the 205s. The banter car not doing particularly quick lap times here, and Wolf senses he might be able to get something out of today there. You saw into Magnus and Beckett, Kinney was really struggling to sort of get on the power early enough and have some confidence through the high-speed section. Into Stowe he comes, and the Wolf is very much at his door here.
He is indeed. Well, you got some good ones this morning. That was another good one.
Yeah, well, I've got to get them all out of the way before our IGP and Virtual Motorsport Platinum split later on at Monza, I think it is.
That's right. Some more JPB stuff today. I'm doing one later myself.
Well, one of those is JPB. But anyway.
Well, that's the one we'll talk about.
Yeah, IGP then. Oh, look at this. Kinney through Farm. Has to get a little bit wide there. And then early on the brakes into Village and the loop. You can tell he's just looking a little bit nervous, a little bit skittish. Wybrow starting to catch them very, very wide on the exit of the loop there. And Wolf is going to be sharpening his teeth here.
Well, Wolf is he's a bit apprehensive right now. Yeah, I think he doesn't feel confident in what Kinney's going to do. And so he's looking for his proper moment to make his move here.
That looked like Kinney giving him a wide berth there. Kinney might still try and
Oh,
dive
no,
back
he's
up
gonna
the inside the left field, and he taps Wolf around.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
Wybrow now is going to join this battle as well. So yeah, Garrett Kinney,
Oh,
it was
Wybrow's
bold.
going around.
Wybrow's lost it again. Oh, Timothy, what are you doing? He just got too overexcited, and I think he may have hit the wall there as well.
I almost want to say he turned that down to stay off of those guys, but let's see. Let's go back and look at that whole sequence there.
Garrett Kinney 2070, whereas Jerome Wolf was sort of lapping in the 202s, 201s. So it'd be interesting to see. There's a big gap to Nicholas Green and Orchin now. So Orchin's still within about 1.5 seconds of Enquist, but yeah, here we go.
No,
This is Wolf.
Yeah, this is later here.
That's how he got past Wybrow, of course.
Yes,
we know
yes.
that was earlier.
Yeah, there's the way this thing's laid out here. It didn't show that as an accident because oh, there we go. I think I got it here. Yep, this is it. So you could tell, like I said, Wolf leading up to this was a little apprehensive, and he finally decides to send it on down there. And it looked like it was going well, but he couldn't complete the pass. And then
it almost felt like Wybrow went wide to let him through, and then he decided to stick it on the outside that becomes the inside for left field. And then you see Wybrow almost touches the curb, definitely heading towards the wall on the old pit entry there.
Yeah, I think Kinney was when he held his line there, and Wolf couldn't get the pass done, and so at that point I think he was he kind of turned down on Kinney because Kinney was just holding his line on the inside there. But you could tell that Wolf was a little apprehensive, just nervous about the way Wolf was. I mean, the way Kinney was driving, he just didn't feel confident that he could predict, how to pass him and what Kinney was going to do.
Yeah, you could tell he had his confidence quite literally knocked out of him by Nicholas Green earlier.
Yeah, right. That's absolutely true too.
Now look at the consistent lap times from the top 6, all in the 2-minute zeros, essentially. Although comfortably the quickest is Tommy Patero, 2 minutes 0.0. So yeah, that really shows you the tires wearing down. Everybody starting to sort of regress to a mean, essentially. As we see now, Parker Enquist is starting to feel a bit of pressure. There was a little bit of gravel tapping from Eric Orchin at Luffield coming on the exit there. They are just starting to match the times of Weston. So Weston's got a very damaged car, but Enquist and Orchin a little less experienced than he is, hence being in the AM class, at least in theory. As now we cut back to Svoboda trying to spread the pain to Timothy Wybrow. Svoboda had a very tough start to the race as Weston is dropping down the field. So Thomas Weston has hit more trouble. It looked like he was recovering ground. He has fallen to 10th now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah, he had apparently he had a little incident. I'm going to stick with this for a second here, and then we'll go back and look at
Would that have been with Hayden Britton, maybe?
Well, it doesn't. I think he
on
was
his
by
own,
himself,
okay. Yeah. So Weston still missing that front bumper all over the curb.
Yeah.
Oh, he's... I don't want. I'm not sure if you'd seen qualifying, but I was about to say he Franco Colapinto'd it. So.
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, very wide from Wybrow. Wybrow's going to a different circuit there, right into the runoff. Way too late on the brakes, and Svoboda gratefully takes the position in the AM class. That's him up to 5th overall then.
I think Wybrow has just absolutely destroyed his tires between the several little incidents he's had. I think that those tires don't have a lot left in them at this point, or they're extremely overheated, or something of the sort.
2 spins will do that to you.
Yeah, well,
but,
right.
Yes, luckily for him, only about 2 minutes left in this race to go now. So he's just got to hold on. Oh, as Garrett Kinney is fighting away with Jerome, well, was briefly there. I think they're actually 6 seconds apart as we look at Enquist and Jerome Wolf. I think has hit real trouble here as he had to pit or something because it's showing out of the pit lane. So that is bizarre.
Did he?
Yeah, Jerome Wolf now back in lane position. I think there must be some sort of connection issue there. That is bizarre, but meanwhile, Orchin is still that little bit quicker, you sense, than Parker Enquist. But Enquist just seems to have enough in hand to keep him at bay as Jerome Wolf is going up and down the time he's going repeatedly. It's almost like he's got a transponder issue here. This could be a bit tricky for calling the final result there. So Wolf should be ahead of Garrett Kinney in third in the AM class, but he is now showing behind Wybrow.
Yeah, and I'm seeing nothing on my.
Well, let's hope his connection can hold long enough for him to just get to the finish of the race here, because that would be even more heartbreak after what's been a race where he's just been bullied by everybody.
Oh, I don't know if he definitely got bullied early, didn't he? But this is turning into a decent little battle here. They're kind of separating a little bit now, but with let's see, where are we at as far as the leader and the taking the white flag? Has he? Yeah. Okay. So this is.
This should be penultimate lapper in the middle of. So we're about to start final lap.
Yeah. We're gonna get one more after this. We should anyway.
Terra has been lightning fast. Looks like Wolf sadly is out of the race though, so he did get disconnected, I believe, and that is cruel with just 2 minutes left on the clock in a 20-minute race.
That is definitely rough.
So he'll have to regroup and hope that he can get back on the grid for race 2. But into the chicane club and into the Vale comes Tommy Pitero. And just a few seconds of this might actually be the end of the race, or 20 minutes elapsed over the line. Difficult to tell. He's still going at full speed, so I think he crossed it just right before we hit the 20-minute mark. So I think this will be the final lap then.
Yeah, I don't show any indication that he got the checker. So yeah, this should probably be the final lap here. And
Terra was almost pushing to make sure there was another lap there. Some of the rest of the field,
which is usually the opposite. They try to slow down a little bit.
Parker Enquist will not forgive him for that if Orchin gets by on this final lap now.
Well, they've actually kind of separated a little bit. I mean, it's gotten over a second now. They've kind of pulled apart a little bit. Enquist is doing a good job of pulling away from him just a touch.
Anybody who's aggressive on fuel, which seems unlikely given the short length of the race, but anybody who is aggressive might find themselves a little bit low at this point as well, even if they're starting to run out of tires as well.
Yeah, I like you said, I don't know that they would have gotten too aggressive with the fueling here. What is a lot of debris right there on the track, isn't it? All right, let's go back. Let's go back here.
Wybrow's adventure. Whoa, very wide from Enquist as he gets onto the Wellington Straight there towards Brooklands. But yeah, Patera in the middle of Maggots, Beckett's, and now Chappell. He has been absolutely peerless. 6.5 seconds ahead of Ian Knox. And Knox and Warner, they're going to complete the pro podium and the overall podium. They've given it a good go, haven't they? But they've just not been able to really hold the candle to the pace of Patero and the consistency as well, it must be said. He's never really dipped into but never had a lap worse than like a 201 or 202.
Well, from what I saw earlier, I don't have it on my screen right now, but from what I saw earlier, like his iRating was the class of the field. He was in the high to mid fours. Yes, he is indeed going to win.
So he flashes the lights then, and it's Tommy Patero that takes the win in Heat 1 here at Silverstone in the Jack Nick collaboration round here in these Ferrari Challenge. Ian Knox is second, just holding off Matt Warner by about a second and a half there, with George Matakos coming through to finish in fourth. Alistair Clark here will take fifth. We didn't see too much of Alistair in his dark green livery. Lovely livery, though. As Hayden Britton will take sixth. But winning in the AM class, it's either going to be Enquist or Orchin. Enquist sees Orchin charging towards the back of him, but it's too late for the Thai driver. It's the man from the United States that's going to take first blood here in Heat 1. Parker Enquist from second in class on the grid, stayed out of trouble, and has been very, very consistent to hold on to the class win. He crosses the line now, and Parker Enquist is the AM winner in Heat 1.
Yeah, good job by him. And Orchin tried to give him a good run there at the end. He closed back up on him a little bit. And Nicholas Green is dragging that one across. It's he's had his fair share of trouble. Somewhere along the line there, he lost his bumper as well.
I think he might be the one that lost it right at the start as well. So he said pretty much the whole race with not a whole lot of help from the front downforce there. So Nicholas Green will be hoping that he There's a bit more of an intact car for race 2, or the second heat, I guess.
Oh,
as there goes Wybrow.
Looked like Wolf got back out there at least.
Oh, that is good, but he will finish. It's
Yeah,
class 17th, so I think they should give him position ahead in the.
I thought we had a warm. Oh yeah, we do have a warm up. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at those results while we got a chance here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where Wolf gets classified in the final order. If he rejoined, so he would have lost his laps from earlier, wouldn't he? Oh no, he's only a lap down, so he did get to resume. Right, so Heat 1 results are on screen in front of you. Tommy Patero wins for Majors Esports by 6.5 seconds from Ian Knox, the Garage 69 driver. Then it was Matt Warner, the British driver, rounding out the podium from George Matakos. Alistair Clark, Hayden Britton round out top 6 in Pro. Parker Enquist leads home the AMS of a fantastic duel with Eric Orchin, who just misses out by just under a second there. Thomas Weston got it home in 9th after hitting trouble late on and having a terrible start off the line. Garrett Kinney is 3rd in the AM class and 10th overall. Andre Svoboda was 11th, passing Nicholas Green fairly late in the race for 11th. Timothy Wybrow was around more times than a spinning top, but still got it home in 13th. Andy Pratt also was able to finish despite getting involved in a huge melee at the start. Trey Lambrecht and Reeves Bartlett, they were eliminated in the first corner, and Jerome Wolf was disconnected whilst running 3rd in class ahead of Garrett Kinney in AMS. So yeah, Jerome Wolf from pole having the race from hell, and we'll be hoping that the feature goes a little bit more in his favor, but he will surely have to start from the back of the grid now.
Yeah, but interesting that we had a couple of guys that went out on lap 1, and yet he is showing that he's finished behind them.
Well, he must have had to restart his entire session then.
Okay. Well, that would make sense. Sure. Yeah. Okay. I guess
he
that's the case.
The organisers that he would like his laps back at least, so he would be where he was if he had just stopped on track. So he would have been ahead of Pratt, Lambrecht, and Bartlett, because I think Pratt was again a lap down as well. So
right, or at least
I'm not sure that's how disconnections work. But yeah, he might not get his 3rd in class back, because it would feel a bit harsh for somebody who didn't do the last 2 laps of the race to still be classed ahead of somebody who did. But you know.
No, I think that he should certainly be ahead of the ones in theory that basically went out on lap 1 or 2. You know.
Well, there's not going to be a formation lap to sort it out is the problem, so they could do it during the warm-up.
Yeah, well, that's true, I guess. So, yeah, we got a couple of guys out there. So, my takeaway from this first race is that Tommy Patero is an impressive driver. He's fast, and he's consistent, and he doesn't seem to put too many wheels wrong, you know?
Yeah, he's certainly made a very, very good account of himself in that first race, but we'll have to see if the second is any different, whether Ian Knox and Matt Warner and company can up their game, of course. And there's so many unseen factors. If there's a cleaner first corner, then I think AMS should be an even closer fight as well. But we'll have to see. I think they would be starting in the order they finished the first heat in, wouldn't they, for this feature race?
I believe they do. I don't know if there's a this not being my regular series. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure if there's a reverse grid or not. But I don't believe there is. But I tell you what, while we've got
somebody would put it up. Yeah.
Well, we've got us a minute here, a minute and a half or so before this warm up's over. Let's touch on these on the points for the season so far, while we got a chance.
Well, there we go. And it tells the story, doesn't it, Jim? Tommy Patero, 86 points to his name, but he is not quite as far ahead of Andy Pratt, only 14 points ahead after 2 rounds have been completed already. I'm not sure the points from the heat have been added.
No, they have
not. So, George Matakos, who finished 4th. I like how the team names is just their last name.
Right.
So I guess we are Team Hunter Cunningham in the commentary box. But anyway, George Matakos, 69 points ahead of Matt Warner. So that podium for Warner will get him arguably ahead of Matakos, give him a chance to at least leapfrog him for 3rd. He's only about 3 or 4 points behind him. Alistair Clark is 5th in the standings on 57 points, just 1 point ahead of Thomas Weston. So that bad showing from Weston means he's at a bit of a disadvantage, along with Nicholas Green
All right,
as well.
We got 15 seconds to hit the top few here before I have to cut this off so we don't lock up. So,
yes, so Eric Orchin is leading Enquist, actually, in the overall championship, with Jerome Wolf in third and Wybrow fourth. So there you go. Orchin, despite finishing runner-up in that heat, he is actually the one who has been the most consistent. And it is Enquist that's got to keep packing in the wins if he can, if he wants to overwhelm him in that championship fight.
Yeah, this is well, I tell you what I took away from the pro points after your first two, which they were out a little bit. There was a nice little 3 or 4 person battle there for third, fourth, fifth, right in that area, you know. So it seems like there's a bit of a bit of a battle going on there. Obviously, Tommy seems to. Oh, it is a reverse grid. Look at this.
This is reverse grid. Yes, exactly. So then let's confirm the order. Jerome Wolf, after that terrible mode, wonder he wanted to get back in. He starts on pole position ahead of Reese Bartlett. Trey Lambrecht will start third ahead of Andy Pratt. Then on row 3, it's Timothy Wybrow and Nicholas Green, with Andre Svoboda and Garrett Kinney making up row 4. Thomas Weston and Eric Orchin, AM Championship leader, makes up row 5. From Parker Enquist, the class winner in race 1, and Hayden Britton leading out row 6. Then it will be Alistair Clark and George Mitakos on row 7, 13th and 14th. Matt Warner will be 15th ahead of Ian Knox in 16th. And our winner from the first race, Tommy Patero, he has got to do quite the job here clearing the field. We saw it wasn't the easiest job to overtake on this track. Then as the race begins, and already it's another accident. I think Green getting hit in the rear, and somebody else has completely lost the front bumper. I believe we've lost Andy Pratt. He made it even less far into the race than he did in the heat. Wow. But it's Reese Bartlett that leads from Wybrow, Lambrecht, Svoboda and Weston as they go into Village and the Loop. And it looks like Weston is clearing Svoboda around the outside in the background there. Wybrow will have Lambrecht all over the back of him as Weston and Svoboda continue the duel. So let's see, who did we lose? We lost Nicholas Green, Garrett Kinney, and Andy Pratt, I believe, at the start there. Jerome Wolf somehow still at the back of the grid, despite starting presumably on pole position, as we see a move about to be made here. Weston up the inside of Lambrecht for third, and now he's going to immediately try and attack Wybrow for second there. But we got 3 AMs, isn't it? Bartlett, Wybrow, Weston. No, Weston's pro, isn't he? So yeah, 2 AMs leading from Weston, who has really excelled in all the chaos. So Tommy Patero has already gained 12 positions. He's just got past Svoboda, and he's in 5th, right behind Lambrecht. So let's see what Patero can do. Weston up to second, past Wybrow, and the exit of Cops there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're all over each other right here. I wanted to go back and look at that start, but I can't cut away from this.
I think Wolf maybe just completely missed the start there, and that was what caused chaos behind. Because Green didn't get going either.
I didn't see the lights come on.
Yeah, me neither. But here we go. Move about to happen. This is Wybrow under attack from Lambrecht. Patero tucking in behind as well. Trey Lambrecht on the outside into Stowe. Can he break late enough to pull this one off? Yes, he can. Through goes Lambrecht into third overall. Wybrow sees Patero making a risky move around the outside. It's every man for himself at the end of this first lap here, but it's still Reese Bartlett that leads by a second from Thomas Weston, and Weston and Lambrecht have got to make hay right now while the sun shines, because Tommy Patero is coming for them.
Yes, yeah, and fast. He is he's moving, man.
Well, it looks like Hayden Britton has hit trouble. I think he's gone into the pit lane for repairs. So Eric Orchin, who didn't have a great start, is going to gain a position, though. So we've got Reese Bartlett, the AM and overall leader, and Thomas Weston, the class leader in pro at the moment. But Bartlett being rapidly caught by the pack behind. How well can he do? His real fight's got to be with Wybrow. Whoa, Bartlett's off. Oh dear, he's almost going to head for the barrier there, but he just about survives that one. So, well, that takes care of Reese Bartlett. Down to 11th position behind Parker Enquist. There he goes. So now Wybrow leads the AM class and Weston leads overall. So yeah, poor Reese Bartlett, the New Zealander, didn't last. He only lasted a lap in the lead, didn't he? And you have to say, just a little too greedy on the throttle pedal. Coming on to wait straight. Oh, chaos behind Mitakos. Knocks Svoboda involved in that one. And they all came to grief at Luffield. Gravel has been thrown everywhere.
All right, so let's do this real quick. Let's go back and see what just happened right there.
Well, Patero's lining up Lambrecht for second as well while you're doing that. But yeah, there we
never
go.
mind. We'll just go back to, let's go back to this right here.
Oh, so there was Lambrecht. We just saw the end of him being spun around there. Not Lambrecht, sorry, it was somebody else. But yeah, Trey Lambrecht right behind Weston, so we'll get a little bit of slipstream, a little bit of a tow, but Patero will be getting the double tow. So it's Weston, Lambrecht, Patero, and then Wybrow being dropped by all of them as their AM leader now, but being closed in by Matt Warner and Alistair Clark. Tommy Patero, look how much later he breaks into stow. He almost has to stop to avoid hitting the back of Lambrecht here. So Patero, if anything, has got to be careful not to force a clumsy collision while these two fight for the lead in front of him.
Yes, you're absolutely 100% correct there.
Oh, Bartlett in more trouble. He drops back down to 11th there. So I think, yeah, just trying to make some progress and losing out as a result then. But yeah, Lambrecht very, very close now to the back of Thomas Weston as we start lap 3.
Yeah, you got a feeling. It's kind of like if I'm sitting here watching this, I almost feel like I hear the Jaws music in the background. You know? Like he's stalking.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Lambrecht not quite able to get through and getting a bit sideways allows Tommy Patero to try and go around the outside through the loop and into the Wellington straight here. This is where Bartlett lost it a lap ago. This time our 3 leaders get through unscathed, but Weston, because Lambrecht made that mistake and Patero couldn't get through, Weston has absolutely started to gain a whole second on both of them just through that alone. So
yes.
yeah, so crucial now that Thomas Weston takes advantage of this after a really tough first race. They go for all the gravel that was kicked up by, I believe it was Orchin, Britain, and Svoboda, wasn't it, that all came together?
Yeah, that was, they definitely left some mess on the track there, didn't they? I cannot for the life of me cut away from this to go back and look at the...
Wybrow in trouble. Wybrow loses 2 positions to Warner and Clark, and now he's only 2 positions ahead of Enquist. So Wybrow, he was second behind Enquist in the first race, and now he is only a second and a half ahead of him. So the pressure will build on here on the shoulders of the Australian here. He has got to keep it clean from now on, otherwise the AM lead will be lost to him, and Enquist can see another win on the table here. He will be pushing to catch up and force Wybrow into a mistake, as now we see Patero lining up Lambrecht into club corner. Is he going to try and sell a dummy on him and break super late into that chicane? He almost gets up the inside. At least he's compromising Lambrecht's trajectory. Goes right over the curb, and that was all the invitation Patero needed. Sparks fly in the undertray of Lambrecht, but it's Patero through up to second, and now Weston, having just set fastest lap of the race, will look a bit worried because Patero is unleashed.
Yeah, I think he's got a little clear track in front of him now, and we know he's more than capable of lapping in the low 59s or the high 58s even. So, that didn't take long. Weston kind of got in there a little bit hot and had to step on the brakes a little extra heavy, and that was all it took. Now we've got Patero within a half a second. And
it changes the mentality, doesn't it, when you see someone like Patero is the one behind you? Because all of a sudden, you know, right, if I make a mistake here, then Patero is absolutely going to punish me for it. And
terrifying.
Sure enough, that forced him into a mistake, poor Thomas Weston. At least he's still got the front bumper to fight with this time around. But,
well, let's hope he doesn't need the front bumper. He needs to keep him on his rear bumper.
How defensive can Weston get here? Because ideally, he would like to back Patero into Lambrecht again, because that would be an ideal thing. Because if Patero is worrying about Lambrecht behind, then it could give Weston that little bit of a breathing room, as we see.
I mean, that's certainly one approach, you know, but then there's also the argument that, you know, can I really hold Patero off for the next, 15 minutes or whatever it is? Or do I let him go and then try to stick to his bumper and maintain a solid hold on second place? You know what I mean? I think you can easily look at both arguments there. Oh, see, he did get into him there, I believe. I'm sure they touched.
They got very close to doing so if they avoided it, but yeah, definitely you can tell. Oh, there again, a little bit deep from Thomas Weston, but he wasn't going to be able to go around the outside there, was Patero. And now Lambrecht is all over the back of him again. So that move not working out has backfired a little bit for Tommy Patero, but he will be able to regroup and try again there. So that was just a small opportunity. It was sort of Weston was making a mistake, but not at the right corner for Patero to take advantage. He's got a great run into the loop bit, but not close enough to risk it on the brakes. And again, he's just moving about in the rear view mirrors, trying to force Weston into more errors here. The more errors Weston makes, the more opportunities. It's like you throw darts at the wall and hope one of them sticks very wide from Weston as he escapes the loop and gets down the Wellington Straight. So there could be an opportunity, Jim, into Brooklands here if Patero positions his car perfectly and brakes super late. And that's exactly what he does. Up the inside, can he get it stopped in time? Tommy Patero takes the lead in the feature race after 5 laps, and now Weston might have to worry about Lambrecht, Warner, and Clark rather than Patero ahead of him. Patero now is surely in a position where he can take control of this one at nearly half distance.
Yes, so all right, I feel a little more comfortable now in going back and trying to get a look at what happened at the start here, because the whole thing was very confusing, and I really do want to go back and look at it.
Right, so here's Patero, who's gained 16 positions, started 17th, so he's in the lead. Let's see what happens here. So I think it's green on the right that doesn't get going at all. And there we go. That's 5 or 6, 7 places gained already for Patero just in the first few meters by playing it safe. He had plenty of time. He had the most time to react, in fairness.
I don't know what happened to green there. That was just
nothing happened. That was the problem.
Okay, you got me on that one. All right, let's see. I'm just guessing that he got caught off guard, got caught sleeping there. Or maybe
Kinney hit back of him, I think.
I believe so. Well, to me, I think, like, I didn't see the start lights. They caught me off guard when they went green. So I don't know if
I was surprised that Wolf, who was supposed to start on the reverse pole, maybe there was some sort of punishment for him being disconnected there that meant he didn't actually get to start on pole. But it felt a bit weird because
he was up there. He was there because I had put the camera circling his car, and then all of a sudden his car disappeared off the screen. So maybe there was some kind of I don't know. Yeah, but because he if you notice, he's all the way at the back now, and it shows him starting up front as a pole sitter because he's down 15 spots.
Yeah, well, either way, that's a terrible day for Jerome Wolf. One of those days you just want to go out of bed, isn't it? By the way, Ian Knox has passed Parker Enquist and is now right on the back of Timothy Wybrow. So Knox, the latest of our pro runners, to have to get past the AM leaders, a little bit wide. Oh, and round goes Wybrow. He just got spooked off the road there, and that allows Parker Enquist through into the AM lead. And you got to feel for Timothy Wybrow there because he was doing everything right up to that point. A couple of mistakes here and there, but he was excelling. And now he has lost that AM lead. He's back exactly where he was, and now he's got Svoboda for company as well. So Wybrow has just got to hope he can keep it clean from now on and at least hold on to second. But his tyres are not going to have enjoyed that one whatsoever. Matt Warner, by the way, fastest lap, 2 minutes, 0.2. He's right behind Lambrecht and Weston.
Yeah, and you got here Svoboda. I can't put the V in there. Wybrow again. Oh, and he's
I think he got tapped by Svoboda that time. So, Wybrow was really struggling to make some Beckett, and Svoboda just went right into the back of him.
Okay, let's see here.
Oh, dear. Look at those wounded warriors.
Okay, so...
look at this. So, Wybrow breaks a little bit late into Maggots, and he's off track into Beckett's.
Oh, he
got
smoked. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Svoboda just got completely caught out there.
Yeah, he just... I don't even know what that was. I mean, he's like he didn't even know he had a brake pedal. Wow.
Oh, so Svoboda really struggling without a front end hit. So Matakos...
he's got damage more than that, I think. Let's go in here real quick and look. Oh yeah, look at this. Well, maybe not.
Wybrow, I believe, is out as a result of that. So that's actually promoted Reese Bartlett back up to second now.
Yeah, well, Svoboda's wheels off for sure. So, there's going to be more incidents here. But so this is okay. So obviously, Tommy Patero's going off in his own zip code or area code at this point, but this is a nice little 3-car battle here for second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, you can tell Weston, who has fought hard to hold on to that lead since taking it at the end of the first lap or so. Yeah, I'll start the second, of course, because that was when Bartlett spun around. But yeah, Lambrecht has been shadowing him for some time.
Indeed.
And now they've got Matt Warner, who I think who of course was on the podium in the first race, is faster than both of them. Ian Knox, still about 6 seconds behind Alistair Clark. So yeah, Ian Knox, I think, had a bit of a tougher start to this race, has not quite been able to gain as much ground as Warner and Patero here. So it looks unlikely that he's going to be able to recreate his second place from the first race. But look at this, Lambrecht starting to put the pressure on as Bartlett finally passes the damaged Svoboda. Here comes Lambrecht, trying to position himself up the inside into Stowe, but having to back out. And this opens things up for Matt Warner here. Ideally, he'd want to pick them off one by one. And look at this, Lambrecht to the outside into club corner. But he's not quite going to have the overlap to complete that move. And Warner, if anything's being held up by these two now.
Yeah, well, it was certainly, that's a hot mess back there right now. I mean, it really is. This is, let's see, I want to see what it looks like from, well, I guess I really meant to go here. I want to see what this looked like from Warner's perspective back here. Because he's got to be careful that he doesn't get in there too hot, you know, and it's so hard to judge what the car in front of the one in front of you is doing, because especially in these low slung cars like this, you just can't, you can't see that well. But Lambrecht is all over Weston up there right now.
And Lambrecht, of course, did start near the front row, didn't he, in the reverse grid? So he didn't get to do a whole lot of the first race, so he's a little bit more unpredictable, isn't he, compared to Weston and Warner, who both countrymen both qualified at similar times. They know each other pretty well. Weston, of course, another driver that really struggled with the damage in the first race, as Lambrecht is almost trying to get alongside into Copse, but Weston defends the middle of the road. Oh, he gets tapped around and almost pinballs into Lambrecht there, but Weston has hit trouble again. He's got a damaged car and he is off the circuit, and that is his race ruined there. One mistake with Lambrecht there. Felt to me Weston was making a couple of defensive moves, but this felt a little clumsy from the both of them. Lambrecht pulls to the outside and then just taps him around.
Yeah, that's certainly not the stuff that Jack Ashton's teaching. So I'm sure there'll be a video review of that move, and what was clearly wrong with that. Well, that kind of changes things up front a little bit.
It certainly makes things a bit more straightforward for Matt Warner, doesn't it? Because he's now only got one car to pass because Lambrecht's taken out the other one. Alistair Clark. Mistake from Warner, too deep into club, and Warner is through into second. Lambrecht, made the mistake into club, so Warner through into second, but he's now got a 7.5 second gap to Tommy Patero ahead of him. And now Alistair Clark in all of this has started to gain, as I believe Thomas Weston is out of the race after that damage, or he's at least gone into the pits. So gutting for him. It does promote Lambrecht, Alistair Clark, of course, up to fourth, and Ian Knox into fifth. So Alistair Clark could be the next to challenge Trey Lambrecht, because I think his pace has been a fair bit quicker here, and we could see Clark and Knox closing on Lambrecht with the pace that they've got. But Lambrecht's not quite given up on Matt Warner just yet, but you would think the Englishman's pace here would be enough to hold him off.
Yeah, it would certainly seem that way. He was kind of waiting back there, waiting to see what was going to happen with Lambrecht and Weston anyway. And so now that he's got that made that pass, he should open it up, although he hasn't really yet. And real quick, while we've got a moment, he's really kind of out there running by himself. But I just wanted to give the American Parker Enquist a little bit of TV time here. He's leading the AM class pretty convincingly right now. Got roughly a 10-second lead or so over second place Bartlett. So he's off to having a really, really fine race. I just wanted to give him a little shout out and little
and
TV
once
time.
Again, it's for Parker. It's come down to basically just staying consistent, staying out of trouble, and not making mistakes. While the chaos has happened to those around him. It happened to Bartlett at the start of lap 2, where he spun off, and it happened to Wybrow as well, where he also spun while being overtaken, wasn't it, by Ian Knox, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there is Matt Warner Interesting. I'm impressed by Lambrecht's pace here. Warner's not quite been able to drop him just yet.
No,
but you
quite,
do
quite
sense
the
Alistair
opposite.
Clark. Yeah, Clark is starting to crouch up to the both of them there as Lambrecht takes plenty of curb once again through the Vale. And he actually gets a good run out of the final corner as they go towards Abbey and Farm. The first couple of corners down the Hamilton Straight they go. And yeah, Lambrecht, you can tell after knocking off poor Thomas Weston, feeling confident here, up the inside into Village. But again, Matt Warner late on the brakes is able to hold it around the outside. Now he's got the inside for the loop, and Alistair Clark will be relishing this because that green car is going to get closer and closer the more that these two fight, compromise each other's line. Wide goes Lambrecht. He is desperate to put up a fight here against Mount Warner, and this could well be the fight we see through to the finish. Just a minute left to go on the clock here, so we could well be on the final lap, or near the final lap anyway.
Well, let's see where... Well, Patero's 10 seconds ahead of them, so he's just taken the... So this is going to be our last lap here.
Yep, here we go then. Patero is going to do the double and stretch that championship lead even further over the likes of Ian Knox and Matt Warner as well. But here is Lambrecht and Clark. Warner has got to hold up to this pressure. He can see Alistair Clark sort of join the party a bit late, weaving around as if to say, what did I miss? And it's a chance to get on the podium, unfortunately, Alistair, unless something truly spectacular happens here. This has got to be the best chance for Clark, is if Trey Lambrecht goes for a sort of kamikaze move here down the end of the straight at Stowe. It's going to be a little bit too far back. The clock is about to run out. Where is Tommy Patero? Is he about to cross the line and win? He is. There we go. Checker flag is out. So he won the heat. He's going to win the feature from the very back grid. Only took him 5 laps to get to the front of the field. And Tommy Patero, it is complete domination at Silverstone for the Finn. And he looks justifiably delighted with that. Matt Warner is coming through now. Lambrecht very, very close, but not close enough. Warner holds on to second. Lambrecht third, but he could be in trouble after knocking off Thomas Weston out of the podium positions there. And then it is Alistair Clark in fourth, with Ian Knox crossing the line in fifth, with Parker Enquist coming through now to win the AM class for the second race in a row, much further ahead of Eric Orchin on this occasion here. So again, Parker just keeping it in a very, very clean race from him. And while all those lost their heads around him, he definitely kept his. Mitakos will be seventh, and Reese Bartlett, it's a case of what could have been for him, was leading the race overall, but the pressure got to him too wide at the loop and onto Wellington Straight, and he spun out, lucky not to hit the wall and to still finish second, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. Well, but yeah, it was he like I said, he didn't hold on to it for too long up there, but so as you were finishing your commentary there, and you mentioned that Patero's going to extend his points lead, Andy Pratt was second in points. Andy Pratt has had one of the worst nights he possibly could have had, so he certainly didn't do himself any favors in the points situation.
Well, he was the one that had in that second race. Nicholas Green stopped literally right in front of him and didn't get going at all. So.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of notice that was going to happen.
No,
and then
just,
the first corner, he got tapped in the back, didn't he? So
yeah, just horrible luck. But man, I tell you what, it's that's certainly a mess. I guess we still got a couple of cars out on track finishing up.
Yeah, I think Wybrow and Kinney, who had to go in the pits, are still out there finishing the final lap.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Kinney and Green.
Yeah, well, I'd really love to know what happened to Green there, if he was just, I don't know. That was unfortunate, certainly for him and the people behind him. All right, now
there we go. Wybrow across the line, and that should be everybody completing the race then.
Yeah, now we should be able to get our results up here.
So confirmation then, the feature race won by who else but Tommy Patero for the Majors Esports team. Matt Warner fought his way up to second. Great fight between him, Lambrecht, and Weston, and Alistair Clark, of course. But Lambrecht rounds out the podium, at least provisionally for now, with Alistair Clark just 4 tenths behind them. Then it was Ian Knox, who nonetheless recovered up to fifth overall, and Parker Enquist leading out the AMs in 6th position. So another strong performance from Parker, our championship leader in the AM class. George Matakos was P7, a bit of an anonymous one for him, unfortunately, with Reese Bartlett in 8th, a case of what could have been for the New Zealander. Andre Svoboda with the missing front end, still able to finish in P9 ahead of Hayden Britton. So, yeah, good recovery from Svoboda, considering how badly the race started for him. Then Eric Orchin was 11th, third in class in AMS, not quite as close to Parker Enquist on this occasion, with Nicholas Green in 12th. Then it was Timothy Wybrow, another driver that led in AMS before spinning out, finishes 13th after a lot of collisions and bad luck for the Australian. Garrett Kinney was 14th. And then I think he might be our last finisher, with our retirements being Jerome Wolf, Thomas Weston, who led so much of this race, got overtaken by Patera and then knocked in the back by Lambrecht. And then Andy Pratt, who never really got going because he saw, unfortunately, it was a very late start for Nicholas Green, and Andy Pratt had nowhere to go. And so his second place in the championship is very much in jeopardy now.
Yeah, they did have a little bit of a gap, but not much. I think maybe 4 or 5 points at the most. It wasn't very much. Patero had a nice little lead, and of course, it's going to have even a bigger lead now. I don't know. We don't have a waiting room per se. I don't know if we just grab somebody and pull them in, or how we do that.
I could send a message asking if anybody wants an interview.
Probably. At this point, that would be a little slow. Let's say we just, since we don't know any better, we just go for it.
Just drag someone in.
Yeah,
well, I know Patero's trying to live stream something to his friends there, so
we probably don't want to do that then. Let's, okay. Well, I don't know.
All right.
Probably shouldn't, I guess.
I can waffle for about a minute or two just to give him time to react, but
we had some good racing here tonight, and I think that this, personally, the people who are putting this on, you can see, the fact that there are different skill levels out there, and learning at different levels of their the learning process, which is great.
Yeah, well, I've been given a message from Nick Green of the Jack Nick collab. He says he's running the stream review, which I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Somebody else, please. Anybody except me. He says he can drag someone. Okay, so who should we go for? Should we?
Let's grab third place Trey Lambrecht and bring him in.
Okay, yeah, Lambrecht. Let's hear what Trey has to say then. So joining us now in the interview room is America's very own Trey Lambrecht, who just finished third in the reverse grid race. Trey, it wasn't a very long heat for you, so obviously the advantage of that is you got a better grid position for the reverse grid. There was a bit of chaos in front of you the first couple of laps, and you were settling into your rhythm behind Weston, weren't you? Then through comes Tommy Patero, and then there's a little incident with Weston that does not end particularly well for Thomas Weston, but you nonetheless held on to third despite being overtaken near the end there by Matt Warner. So a bit of a mixed final race of the day for you, but you certainly had some impressive pace and had some good defensive driving for the most part.
Thank you very much. Yeah, things got a little sticky in the end. I'm a little disheartened by the Thomas result. I hate to have any race finish that way, but I had a good day today. It felt quick. Unfortunate, like you said, to have that the heat race go the way it did, but I'm glad I could shine through in the feature.
Well, you got a question, Jim?
No,
you breathe like you have a question.
No. Well, I guess the only question I would have is, could from your perspective, could you see and tell what happened on the start of the feature there? It looked like we had maybe Green didn't get started, or was there any issue? Did you notice any issue with the lights? Were they working fine for the second race, or
I think, to my understanding, there might have been a misshift or some sort of incident from the start itself. I'm not mistaken, someone was in reverse, but that could have just been a rumor.
Well, that would have been interesting.
Right.
But no, I thought you recovered nicely, though. Given what happened in the warm up or the heat race. So good job on your recovery, and congratulations. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out to since you're up bright and early this morning racing from America?
Shout out my mom. Shout out Coach for setting all this up. And shout out you guys. I appreciate you guys hosting the broadcast.
All right. Well, we appreciate.
Lovely to hear, Trey.
Yep. So, all right, buddy. Well, we'll. I would say we'll see you next week, but I think you'll have your regular host back next week. So, good luck to you, and I'm sure I'll catch you down the road somewhere in the future.
Thank you very much.
All right, then, as we let Trey Lambrecht depart the commentary box with his podium trophy that we'll be hoping to hold on to, I guess, after any post-race reviews. But we know Parker Enquist, our winner in the AM class in both races, wants to talk to us. He says, I'm always open to talking about my mistakes, so let's drag Parker in. Let's continue the American theme, Jim. And given it's UK, let's grab all the Americans.
Where is Parker? Is he in the chat? I don't.
Here he is.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Sorry. I just got pulled. I wasn't expecting it.
Sorry, Parker. Yeah, I don't think Jim was either. I just did it. So
that's good.
Welcome, Parker. The winner, of course, in the AM class in both the heat and the feature. And Parker, I said it in commentary, it was just a case of you being consistent, keeping it clean, while others ahead of you lost their head and hit trouble. Of course, there was Wolf that had some issues at the very, very start of the heat, and you had to hold off from your championship rival Orchin for the back end, or pretty much all of the heat, didn't you? And the gap was like, I think 3 or 4 tenths as you crossed the line at the end there. And then in the feature, it was basically the case of Bartlett and Wybrow spinning off in front of you, and you just had to keep it clean. You won by a comfortable 10-second margin in the end. So certainly that heat was probably the most tense one for you.
Yes, and this has probably been the cleanest race I've had out of 3, especially since it's cleaner than Watkins Glen. I think I rear-ended someone twice in the same corner. That was fun. Missed my braking point during the Glen, but during this race, it was a lot more clean. And I tried to focus a little bit more on just that, trying to keep it clean. I had a number of off tracks, but Silverstone's a difficult track to do that in a sports car, not a high downforce car. So, yeah. But overall, it was clean. So, well, clean on my end, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Certainly. So, Parker, you're extending that championship lead that you have in the AM class. You've got to be feeling confident with the more ground that you gain, of course. And if you can just keep stringing wins together, it certainly is going to have an effect on the road that the Anfield drives. Do you think it's going to get to the point where they're going to see you coasting up to the back of them, and they're going to say, "Oh, here's Parker again, another pro"? And because it definitely felt like when you caught up to Wybrow, he was, I think, fighting away with one of the pro drivers, and he just spun it at left field, just in a panic. So
it was, I believe, it was with. Was this race 1 or race 2? With race 2, I believe it was net code with Ian, is what we were just talking about.
Was it.
Yeah, and actually, I think I'm looking at the updated point standings real quick. Eric still has me by 5 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it shows what I know. Jim, do you have any questions for? Oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. You're good.
I was going to ask if Jim had any questions.
No, not really. Just you had a really good run tonight. Like you said, it was your most consistent race so far. I've been here for 2 of the 3. It's good to see that JPB logo on the roof of your car there, by the way. But yeah, I mean, you had a really good run, good solid run tonight, which is based on the fact that y'all doing this with the coach and everything, and that's kind of the whole point, is to improve your racecraft and have good, clean races where you can be fast up front and clean, and you accomplished all that tonight. Especially, well, I say tonight, I mean this morning, especially from where you're from.
Yeah, 6 a.m. for me.
What part of the states are you located in?
So, So I get I'm in the mountain
time zone.
and stuff
Okay,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, yeah. I'm in the central,
But
so I can appreciate the fact that you're it's 6:15 for you right now in the morning. So good job. It's hard to get up and be that focused this early. At least it is for me anyway. But yeah, good job, man. You got anybody you want to shout out to while we got you in here?
Well, that answers that. Thank you, Buck.
I think do we lose him or no? I think he's still. Parker, you still there?
Still here.
There we go. The mic's back.
Yeah, your mic's cutting out. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've been having some internet on and off.
Well,
if you held on,
if you have anybody you want to shout out to, get them in real quick before that thing dies again.
I got nothing. Not off the top of my head, unless you want to drag Eric in, but
Well, it was good to see you have this success tonight, and good luck for the rest of the season. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you for commentating. I'm going to jump back in with the league voice now.
All right. So, well, I think we'll probably just go with that. The two winners. That's Patero. We didn't get Patero.
Yeah, well, I don't think Trey would won, but nonetheless, yeah, Patero, I think he's still doing his thing. I was asking Matt Warner one in an interview, but I've not heard back, so I thought rather than drag someone who doesn't want to be interviewed,
that's probably
without their consent.
You can catch them in the bad conversation sometimes too. I've had that happen.
Yeah,
Patero's streaming. We won't pull him in because that'll probably
we got two interviews. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and Tommy's like I said, he's streaming, so we don't want to do that anyway. But all right, we'll go ahead and summarize and let's wrap it up here then.
Okay, fine. Tell me how to do my job now. But yeah, anyway, so it's been a really warm welcome from the Jack Ashton Racing server in the Jack Nick collab here, the Ferrari Challenge. But Tommy Patero took pole, sauntered off into the distance, won by almost an even bigger margin in race 2 after gaining the lead within 5 laps. But yes, it was also Parker Enquist that won in the AM class in both races as well, after keeping his head and putting a very, very stern challenge to those head and holding off particularly hard fight from Eric Orchin in the heat as well. Honorable mention as well to Matt Warner, third in the first race and fought his way up to second in the feature, ahead of Trey Lambrecht. But yeah, Thomas Weston will be feeling a little bit annoyed that his chance to finish on the podium was taken away from him with a collision with Trey Lambrecht. And Trey did, to be fair, sound fairly apologetic when we talked to him there. So it doesn't sound like there's any bad blood particularly. But yeah, that concludes round 3 from Silverstone. I can't remember where round 4 is, but I do know it's probably going to come in the next week or two. So everybody can look forward to that and seeing the field in action again, can't they, Jim?
Yes, it's actually at the Bend on the 20th of July. So I guess they have next week off, and then it'll be round 4 will be at the Bend there, and then after that, round 5 at Road America. So
awesome. It's like another exciting Jack Nick collab in prospect then. But of course, congratulations to our winners, Tommy Patero and Parker Enquist. Thank you very much to you for watching, and we hope you join us for more at JPB action later in the day. You can join me later in the evening, where I'll be covering the IGP Super Formula Lights Round that's taking place today as well. But my thanks to you, Jim. My thanks to everybody in the Jack Nick collab. Not least, of course, Jack Ashton and Nick Green for putting on a fabulous show for us, and all the drivers for entertaining us today. And so thank you very much for watching, and make sure to tune in, because you never know, we might see you on the track one day as well in one of these streams. So bye for now, and thanks for watching.